Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Nazraiman bin Nizar dari kelas DKA 4A. Nombor metrik kad 11 DKA 19F1017.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Wan Umina Aisyah binti Mustafa. I'm from class DKA 4A and my matric card number is 11 DKA 19F1020. And today we want to present our virtual lab is impact test on aggregate.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Ridwan bin Saiful Samrin. My number matrix 11 DKA 19F1023 from DKA 4A.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Ashiki Farisha binti Yusrizal. My matric card number is 11 DKA 19F1026.
Introduction. Aggregate undergo significant wear and tear throughout their life. Aggregate must be hard and tough enough to resist crushing, degradation and disintegration and be able to transmit load from the pavement surface to underlying layers and eventually the subgrade. Testing the strength of parent rock alone does not exactly indicate the strength of aggregate in concrete. For this reason, assessment of strength of the aggregate are made by using a sample book aggregate in standardized manner. The principal mechanical property of aggregate required in any construction is 1. Satisfactory resistance to crushing under the roller during construction. 2. Adequate resistance to surface abrasion under traffic. Aggregate used in road construction should be strong enough to resist abrasion and crushing and also the impact load. If aggregate are weak, then the stability of pavement structure will be adversely affected. The toughness of aggregate is its ability to resist sudden load acting on it. The movement of vehicle on the road sometimes give rise to impact loading, which result in breaking of aggregate into smaller pieces. Therefore, the aggregate should have sufficient toughness to resist their disintegration due to impact. This characteristic of aggregate is measured by impact value test. In this test sample of standard aggregate, keep in a mold which is subjected to 15 blows of metal hammer of weight 14 kg falling from the height of 38 cm. The quantity of finer material resulting from pounding will indicate the toughness of the sample of aggregate. As per IS 283 to 1970, aggregate impact value is defined as the ratio of weight of finest form of weight of total sample taken and is expressed in percentage. Aggregate impact value give relative measure of resistance of aggregate to sudden shock or impact, which in some aggregate differs from its resistance to slow compression load. Impact value should not be less than 45% for aggregate used for concrete other than wearing surface and 30% for concrete used in wearing surface. Table below show the classification of aggregate with respect to aggregate impact value and limit of aggregate impact value for different types of road construction suggested by Indian Road Congress.
Pre-test. Impact test on aggregate. First, which of the following tests measure the toughness of road aggregates? The answer is A. Impactness. For question number 2, set of sieve used in this experiment is, the answer is B. 12.5 mm, 10 mm, and 2.5 mm. For next question, what is diameter of cylinder metal measure used in this experiment? The answer is C. 45 mm. For next question, impact value of aggregate satisfactory for road surfacing is, the answer is B, 20 until 30%. For the last question, aggregate impact value of less than 45% is suitable for, the answer is C, concrete-based course.
Okay, for the experiment simulation for impact test on aggregate, the objective is to evaluate the toughness of aggregate to break down under application of impact and to determine aggregate impact value of the given sample of aggregate. So the apparatus is impact testing machine, tapping rod, trowel, cylindrical mold, leveling rod, weighting balance. For the step 1, take coarse aggregate in a pan and measure it to 350 gram using a weighting balance. So first, we press the tare button at the weighting balance and put the coarse aggregate in the pan and we measure it to get 350 gram. For the step 2, arrange the sieve in the decreasing order of their size. Place the pan at the bottom and then add weight quantity of coarse aggregate. So sieve are arranged in the ascending order as pan 10 mm to 12.5 mm. Step 3, place the set of sieve in the mechanical shaker. Okay, first we put the stack of sieve onto the mechanical shaker and we put the holder of mechanical shaker. So for the step 4, collect the coarse aggregate written on 10 mm, sieve in a separate container. Okay, firstly we open the holder mechanical shaker and we take the 10 mm sieve and put in the container and separate container.
Step 5, we will weigh the weight of the empty cylinder. And the weight of empty cylinder is 1911.5 kilogram. Then fill the cylinder with aggregate written on a 10 mm sieve in a 4 layers. First layer, second layer, third layer, 4 layer. The question is, tamping process is done to obtain uniform compact and to avoid the answer is true. Step 6, we will weigh the weight of the cylinder with aggregate. On the switch and press step. And the weight of the cylinder with aggregate is 24455.00 gram.
For step 7, we place the cylinder in the setup. We release the hammer in order to apply the impact load. 15 blows are given at an interval of not less for 1 second. And then we tighten up the cylinder setup. And then, after done, for step 8, we transfer the aggregate to the sieve 2.36 mm, then place it in the mechanical shaker. We close the sieve and then we put it on the mechanical shaker and then we tie it up. So when it shaker, it don't move, and we switch on the switch. And then we shake it for a few minutes.
Step 9. Loosen the router. And then take it out from the mechanical shaker. Next, we're using weighing scale. Note down the weight of the aggregate passing through 2.36 mm. We must to press on and then press there to be 0. Put on the pan. Weight of aggregate passing through 2.36 mm is 75 gram. Step 10. Observation and result. Empty weight of the cylinder is 1911.5 gram. And weight of cylinder with the aggregate in gram is 2445 gram. Weight of aggregate passing through the 2.36 mm sieve in gram is 75 gram. And the impact value is 14.06 gram. Classify the aggregate based on the impact test value. The answer is wrong. Post-test impact test on aggregate. Question number 1 is, what is depth of the cylindrical metal measure used in this experiment? The answer is A, 45 mm. Question number 2, what is the use of impact test? The answer is C, resistance of aggregate to sudden impact. Number 3, what should be the impact value of aggregate used in concrete? The answer is B, not less than 45%. Which property of the material is used to resist impact? The answer is toughness. Last question. Aggregate can be said as strong when the impact value is very less. The answer is true.
This our safety. We wear our jacket, safety boot, and also wear mask.